Hello there guys, welcome back to the e-bike repairs YouTube channel. A slightly different thing for you today. This is a YIKE bike. It's all carbon, so all the frame is carbon. It's all very exciting. What the customer's got here is dead battery pack. So this is like an original V1 model. As far as I can tell, there's very few videos of the insides of these things. It's all very interesting, lovely custom design everywhere. Well, some of it's not so lovely, but we'll get to that. So, to get to this, you've got to pop off a side panel. There's one screw just here, one screw just here, and one screw just here. And the side panel looks... see if I can get it without... all its screws everywhere. There you go. Side panel looks like that, and that was sat on it over there. It's quite cool. It's all custom stuff. Right, I'm filming with my left hand in a very odd fashion, so we'll have to deal with that. And then the screws look like these, so they are Allen head, what that, M5, something like that. So what I've done, I've hooked up a different power supply to the bike itself using this. So, can't remember what this plug's called, T something or other, one of those red ones. Anyway, instead of the battery pack out, and I was just going to see if it works. I was pressing the power button, and you get nothing at all, which I thought was very upsetting. However, if you press the green button, things happen. Look at that. So one of these sides is the go. There are triggers on the handle just there. Oh, that's the go. This one must be the stop on this side, the regen braking. We've got indicators on each side. This one appears to be the horn button. And these arms are meant to fold out and you sort of sit on the thing. Although it's in a slightly folded position at the moment because, as you can tell, space. I'm lacking space right now. So, inside it, very interesting. We've got this funny battery pack, which I'll get to. I'll put that on the desk in a bit when we look at it. What we've got is this motor here. It's a, see if I can spin it around so you can see it. There you go. Model motor, gold line, an Axi 5320/34, 206 kV. Warning, this part rotates. So that there looks to be connected to, it must be a belt or something that goes to the, through in there, the other side of this to this gear here, and then as I spin that, you see it engages with the ring gear that runs the whole length, or circumference, inner circumference, whatever that bit's called, of this. It's also sat on some rollers. So there's a little roller in here, there's a roller just there, a roller just there, and then two more rollers at the bottom there. The tyre valve is inside here, and it's interesting, it seems to scrape on the inside of the carbon cover, but we'll get to that. This one may have been a prototype, we're not quite sure. Big hole here, and these are the pedal jobbers that fold out for you to put your hands. And that there is the motor controller. I see, I believe, motor halls and phasers there, so those would be phasers. If they're the halls that go to it, no, I don't think they are. Maybe they are. It's very hard for me to say, there's not a lot of room to look in here. There's all sorts of connectors and gubbins. You can see them just behind all these cables in there, going to the control unit here. So it's all very exciting. Now what's most interesting to me is this battery pack. It's lifep04, so not traditional lithium ion, so see lithium iron phosphate, 19.8 volt 3.8 amp hour, and then also 19.8 volt 3.8 amp hour. So it's split into two smaller packs. See, look, there's one of the packs, and it looks to be made up of just 6 cells, you can see, and it's covered in insulation tape, which is very interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this pulled out of the bike, and we'll have a look. I'm not going to try and revive it, because I don't think that that's a good idea. You know, it's obviously a little unhappy, and I'll probably if it's been sat since 2009, which it may well have, it's probably not very safe to be charging it up. So yeah, what I will be doing is disassembling it though. I'm assuming that's the BMS under here. Big chunky boy. And it does appear to be wired into the charge port, so I'll have to see how the charge port comes out. I might have to cut something, not too sure yet. And but once I've got it out, I will get it on the desk and see what's going on inside it. But the important thing is that this works. So I've got it hooked up to 42 volts at the moment, and it clearly does what it's supposed to do. So that's it's all good. Okay, right, I've got that battery pack pulled out of there. Bear with me, I'll run away. Right, what I was going to do was something very, very scientific. Long story short, I've got to build a new battery pack that sort of fits in this one's sort of space. It's a bit like that, I believe it fits. Something like that. Anyway, I was going to trace around there. So probably put a little bit of baby tape on. All the tape's falling off, all the tape's falling off, all the tape's falling off. There we go. Yes, probably put a little bit of tape across this seam here. Okay. And then, I mean, it likes to sit like that. It's something very, very similar to this size. What I'll probably do is, once I've gained a little extra space, is tidy it all up properly and see what I can do to fit the pack in the space properly. However, that's sort of something a little like the space I've got to work with. Can you fit 20 18650s in here? I've got 21 in this box, not 20, but I want to know if I can make a pack that will fit. Or not, because if I can't, it's not very good. Hopefully it's all doable. It's looking like it's going to be doable, isn't it? I'm most of the way through the beggars. Well, the answer to the question then is yes, I can fit 20 18650s in that same space. Obviously I'll try and make it a bit easier because it's going to be in groups of twos. There's a vague chance that I might be able to get away with something along the lines of, you know, lining up a load like this. So we can do we must be able to get 6 series groups easily in there, and then just put another, that's 5, another 4 in here, because if I could just make 2 blocks and then use padding to make it the same size. Oh, I don't need that one. Yeah, I can make up 2 5S blocks here. Obviously I'm not going to use these cells just to use ones I've had kicking around, because it's way easier to work them out with used cells, because then if I drop it and damage it, it doesn't matter. I can make up 2 5S blocks. And the way that they've done this, the way that they've joined them together with this funny balance harness thing, I'll probably not do that. But what I will do is extend the nickel out here, and like if you had a battery pack, sometimes they build them into batteries and they sit sort of end to end like that, and then because it's not always, like, let's say you've got 4 wide but they're groups of 3, this makes no sense, but oh well, then they have little wires running across to kind of make up the series connections and stuff properly. I'll probably do something a little bit like that, so two bits of wire across here to join them, and then the balance leads can join over. But I'll try and join it all together as one pack, because in the updated ones it is just one pack. So if this space here can be occupied, for example, then I'll just sort of use that, and we shall go from there. So that's all very exciting. Let's put those away in there. They are destined for something else. Right. Inside you, what do we have? Do we want to retain the stickers? We might want to retain the stickers, to be honest. They're kind of interesting. Kind of a bit of a relic sticker, isn't it? Right, I suppose then the thing to do is disconnect that JST. Oh, I'm not strong enough. And this, I can't remember what these called. It's a T-plug or something, isn't it? T-plug? Something like that. Right, shall we see what's behind us? Door number 1. I wonder how much of that you could see. Oh, plenty. It's the way I've put you on a new tripod that essentially I've screwed to that wall over there. And to be honest, it's a little bit saggy. No, nobody wants that. So you sort of, over time, you seem to be sagging that way and showing more of that, not my belly leaning over the desk. It's very upsetting, I'm sure. Right, let's just... strongest tape known to man, unless it's not only tape, it's taped round something else. It looks to be taped round a thick rubber sheet of some sort. Ah, here we go. E&J Green Power Limited, lifep04 3.2 volt, 4.2 amp hour. Yeah, it's sort of a thick rubber sheet. I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels just like an inner tube. It's pretty much what seems to be going on here. Oh my. Oh. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm pretty sure this isn't going into use again, so we shall. There's that. Don't want it going in the bin. Right, okay. Then, looks as though some of it's been spot welded nicely. Some of it perhaps hasn't spot welded quite so nicely. Odd. They obviously had a spot welder, but then, I don't know, see they've spot welded these, it looks fine. Triple layered up the nickel. Big wide nickel as well. But then this one is not the prettiest thing in the world. Not that pretty really matters, it was obviously functional. Well, one assumes it was probably functional. There's that. A little bit of hot glue on these here. This may well have been a prototype. I could be nitpicking what was never intended to be actually released to a customer. Here, I don't know. So the voltage that these operate on, lifep04, I think it fully charges up to 43.8 volts, or something like that, according to the charger anyway, and then it discharges down. So I don't know, something similar to a lithium pack. It's basically it's a 36 volt battery pack, what you typically refer to as lithium 36 volt battery packs. It charges up to about 42, 43-ish volts. And delicious, delicious. And then it fully charges up to talking nonsense. And then the other side of it is that it, come on, pack. Sorry. Right, the discharge curve is normally a little flatter than a lithium battery. The lithium battery will do like a 3 volt, then a 4.2 volt, and it will go a bit like this. Kind of, it's a funny curve thing, isn't it? And so the drop from sort of 3.7 down to there is very quick, and the drop from 4 up to there is very quick, and the most stable voltage on sort of 18650 lithium ion chemistry, and the most stable voltage is in the middle. And I think that lifep04 is, what is it, fully charged 3.7, something like that, and empties 3.1, something like that, and it's a much flatter discharge curve. So instead of it going woo, it's a bit more linear. It would appear that this YIKE bike will operate just fine on a regular modern 36 volt pack, because the new ones seem to have a regular modern 36 volt pack. I say new ones, I don't know if they make new ones very much anymore, but certainly the ones that, you know, if you look on old website listings for, if you're trying to buy a new battery pack, that's what they look like. They just look like, it says lithium ion, it doesn't say lithium iron phosphate on the side of it. Well, the black tape might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but obviously, you know, it was clearly only just covering up a, there you go. It feels like an inner tube. It really does. I wonder if it is just an inner tube. It cuts like an inner tube. Oh, I guess I know what I can wrap my battery in when I'm done. So, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Right? Right. Right. Crikey. It's a lot of it, though. Can't release it from all this wrapping. Now, what we seem to be a bit undecided on is the power output of said YIKE bike. Is it 200 watts, or is it 1.2 kilowatts, or is it 800 watts, or is it 400 watts? Nobody seems to know the answer. Looking at the motor, it could be any of those things. Realistically, if it had 1.2 kilowatts, it's probably a little excessive, and therefore it wouldn't have complied with some EU laws that require it to be sort of 250 watts-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and assume it was in fact 200 watts. Looking at the BMS, I don't think this looks as though it's a gigantic sort of, well, I say gigantic, it doesn't look, doesn't scream 1000 watt BMS to me. You know, I think that it's either inner tube or some kind of heat shrink tubing that's not been shrunk. Very strange. Oh well, in the bin now. This all looks, you know, perfectly fine. Can't really nitpick too much, can we? See, this one here, they've used a tab to solder onto. Or have they? Yeah, they have. They've used tabs to solder onto. Not just gone directly off the top of the cell like the other one. Don't know why they did that. Maybe they ran out of nickel or it broke or something. Someone could have been in and repaired these since they were new. Oh, look at the state of that cell there. Can you see it's all horrible in there? Just in there. See, this is like a colour that's good. And this is a colour that's not good. All like that. Oh, it's all wrinkly underneath the surface. That's not nice. Not nice at all. Right, anyway, so let's get this plugged into the big JST. Shall we see if after all this time the battery had any life to it? Let's have a look, shall we? What do we think? I'm thinking some of the cells will still have charge. That's what I'm going to go with. And they don't. Fair enough. Meter out and just have a little poke. Nope, half a volt in the whole pack. Fair enough. Does it not like it because it's not seriesed up yet? Would that make a difference to the balance leads? I suppose it could. Could it? It might. Let me check again. Yeah, no, half a volt. It's dead. They're dead. I'd imagine this cell being all bleh probably doesn't help either. But there don't look to be any identifying marks on the BMS. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 MOSFETs in there. We've got our battery in, we've got our charge in, and power in, which looks to be in the same port, so it might be common port. Won't be reusing that anyway because it's a lifep04 BMS. No switching, no smart functions, none of that stuff, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. Don't need any of that. And what I'll do though is I'll take the charge tip off the original charger, hook it up to a 42 volt out lithium ion charger, and then I will, oh, and to get the charge port out, I forgot to say, you just undo that end and it pulls back into the bike, which means I didn't have to unsolder all this. And that's the plug that goes out to the bike. Yep, all good. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There probably won't be any more update videos on this unless I decide to film one of popping the battery in the frame, which is unlikely, so we shall see. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this sort of thing, please feel free to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member where you pay 99 cents a month, US dollar cents a month. I get a shockingly small quantity of it, but it inspires me to keep making these videos for you guys. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.